Hey, welcome back to another episode of Teacher Nerds Podcast. I'm Ron Nober, technology teacher, 3rd grade through 8th grade.
And I'm Joe DiPaolo, 3rd grade teacher.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about, ways you can get money, for things in your classroom. We know we have budget cuts coming up. But before we get to that, Joe, let's introduce our opening little segment that we do, 2 yes and 1 no way.
All right, what's our topic, Ron?
How about TV shows?
Okay, I like it.
All right. So for me, 2 yes, I would say Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And Breaking Bad. And 1 no way, any of the Housewives shows.
Ooh, Atlanta Housewives. Come on, Ron, you know you're watching. My 2 yeses for TV shows. First yes, definitely The Simpsons. Been watching The Simpsons since it was on the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah.
Showing my age. My second yes would have to be a newer show, The Goldbergs.
Yeah, I love The Goldbergs.
Definitely,
yeah.
2 family-oriented shows right there.
Yep.
My 1 no way would probably be Game of Thrones, Ron.
Oh,
you know what?
You're killing me.
I can't get into it, and maybe it's because I've never watched any of them, but nothing's drawn me to watch any of them.
And I gotta say, I was the same way. I thought, not into wizards and dragons and anything, and watched a few episodes, and I think we binge watched most seasons within 2 months.
Okay, and I don't know if you were the one saying it, but someone else was saying that's the way you got to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to
wait
binge.
week to week.
Not So you know what? Maybe if I have any downtime this summer, but right now it's my no way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was 2 yes, 1 no way, and let's get into our topic.
All right. Well,
Go ahead.
I think there's a lot of great avenues out there. We went to an ECET that was based for New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Yep.
It was in Pennsylvania, and actually the curriculum coordinator from Tabernacle, Barry.
Right.
Barry had a hand in it, and in putting it on, he was one of the not the presenters, but I guess one of the guys behind.
Coordinator, yeah,
Okay,
kind of
there you go.
Coordinators, yeah, for sure.
Guy behind the scenes, and they were talking about grants and what the Gates Foundation is doing, and
Right.
and then the following year, Tabernacle hosted an ECET event with the help of the Gates Foundation, and I know you didn't necessarily go to
Right,
it.
I didn't go to that one.
I was there. There was a couple other teachers from Southampton. An administrator was there from Southampton, Mrs. Bertulis, our vice principal, and it was amazing. And it was all funded through the Gates Foundation. Empatico, which is something else we'll be talking about later, doing an exchange on Empatico will enable you to write a grant. And then there's other things out there like organizations like Donors Choose and GoFundMe.
Right,
If things are happening with your budget and things do get cut and
absolutely.
you're not able to get what you want through those channels, there are other avenues out there to help you give those students the experiences that are going to help them in the future.
And I know like the Empatico, like we had talked about, but I know when you went to that ECET, like that's where you it struck you.
That's where it struck a lot of people, and it was a packed house.
And I know they wrote a grant to get 2 of the classrooms together, which was amazing.
Empatico actually gives these teachers money to fly to their partner classrooms.
Right.
That was Dr. Collins from Tennessee, and she actually flew with a couple of her students from the class to Tabernacle, and it was Michael Dunlia and Stacy Delaney's 3rd grade classroom. And there wasn't a dry eye in the room.
Well, I know, when I saw it at Texpo, I mean,
okay.
I had tears rolling down my face, felt like an idiot.
And if see, I was able to keep it together. My eyes were definitely watering. My co-teacher Kim Bray, she was doing crying for both of us.
Okay.
She was sitting next to me, and it was great because Michael was sitting up there. He is one of the 3 teachers, and he's smiling because he's looking out there, and his response is, "That's why I put all these tissues out there because I knew we were going to use them."
Yeah, and especially I think like today's climate where you're seeing just hate out there, and it's like okay.
This little classroom from Tennessee is paired up with this little classroom from Tabernacle, and their makeups are night and day. I mean, they're totally different. And the little girl comes in from Tennessee, and she sees her little friend from Tabernacle, and meeting in person for the first time. And they're hugging, they're immediately crying, and the little girl turns around, she goes, "I don't care what color she is, black, white, purple, brown, I love her just the same." And it's pure, I guess, joy from the heart.
Yeah.
So it really was cool to see, and it was all funded by a grant
That's amazing.
through Empatico. So we'll talk about Empatico later, because
That's probably a whole episode.
Whew, we could do it. That's a big company.
Yeah, and I know, like, we're pretty lucky here. We have the Southampton Township, the Star Foundation.
The Star Foundation does a lot for us.
I mean, I know myself, in technology, I've written a number of grants. I mean, upwards in the, over $50,000 in grants for the lab and equipment that we have, and I mean, they have been absolutely amazing.
And that would be hard to put into the budget,
Yeah,
and
no,
especially
there's no way.
Maybe over 10 years time, no problem. But to not have to wait 10 years,
Right.
The Star Foundation is great for a lot that goes on with Southampton.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other schools out there that hopefully have those types of opportunities.
And
So
you know what? We'll even maybe in the show notes we'll put the address for the Star Foundation if anybody out there wants to ever send a donation.
Oh, definitely.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, and even I think just even parent involvement sometimes. Putting stuff out there like we need cardboard. I know you're doing making. I do a lot of making. Cardboard. We need some duct tape. If people want to send some stuff in, old CDs.
Or even parent volunteers in the fact that when
Yeah.
you are making,
Exactly.
to have those extra hands-on in the room.
Yeah, you need that.
Working with third graders, I just saw something on Twitter the other day where I think it was Daily STEM. Great guy to follow if you are into
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
He showed some real quick and easy electric box cutter, and I mean it was like I would have been a kid on Christmas to have that in the beginning of this year.
Right.
Because right now I've been using just scissors, or if I'm lucky, I do plan ahead and bring an X-Acto knife in.
Right.
But it's me doing all the cutting, and it's.
And there are some really good cardboard saws out there that are plastic. I think Make Do makes one, and if I'm remembering correctly, Thingiverse has some plans that you can download from Make Do to do 3D printing of some of their products. So that may be something
okay.
we have to look into. But again, people out there, if you don't know about like Thingiverse, and you have access to a 3D printer, there are some files already created that you can make some things that you might not normally be able to put into your budget, and you can actually just 3D print them. So that's a research.
Though those types of freebies are great to have, and
My favorite flavor.
Well, I was gonna say teachers love freebies.
Absolutely.
And speaking about freebies, like we'll be having some freebies to throw out there,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Teacher nerd
So,
freebies.
Yeah, maybe some stickers, T-shirts, things like that. for
Empathy
sure.
cards. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Things
Yeah.
are crazy.
Yeah.
It's Christmas in July, and things might be coming your way.
Yeah. So I know you wanted to talk about giving some shout outs to people that you got a lot from this year,
Oh, definitely some great ideas.
and maybe people to follow on Twitter or social media in some way.
Well, earlier in the year, at Tabernacle, once again, they put on a rewire
Right. Yeah, that
show.
was awesome. Yep.
to just really rewire your thinking and education. And there I was able to watch Kate Baker do something on flipped learning and playlists, and it totally changed the way we taught this year, as far as reading goes, and being able to bring social studies into reading, being able to bring science into reading with these playlists. And I put in our folder a really cool PDF that talks about flipped learning. So
Okay.
maybe we could put a link to that in the show notes. Because flipped learning, there's kind of two definitions, and
Right.
one is kind of like homework at home. They're
Right.
watching videos, but that's really hard to control because once these kids leave your classroom,
Right. And I know in our district, some kids may not have internet access at home. They may not have access to a computer. So flipped learning, yeah,
right? And
that definition may not always work.
and it's more of an acronym where it's a flexible learning environment. There's a learning culture already in the classroom. There's intent, content, and a professional educator in the classroom.
Right.
And really bringing things together to enhance their education. So that was a really cool concept. And once again, that's Kate Baker. She's right out of Southern Regional High School.
Oh wow, right. So pretty close.
Yes, yep. And she's actually a friend of a friend. And
Okay.
and we did I've sent her a couple shout outs when we first started doing it,
Right.
and it's been a huge success. So Kate, great job. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and we'll put a link to anything for her in the show notes as well.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I was, talking about free and things that people can do, and we're going to get into this maybe a little more in depth in a future episode. But I gotta say, one of my favorite free things out there has to be Flipgrid.
Oh, most definitely.
You know, not only just for the content that they provide for free, you know,
Paired with Microsoft.
the platform, yeah. But they are one of the companies that, you know, I kind of think of like when you say a company just gets it, they get it. I send a tweet out to them looking for stuff. We're hosting a digital citizenship night dinner at our school on May 1st, and ask them for some swag to give away. And within 2 weeks, it's here.
Nice.
There's T-shirts, there's stickers, and every time I've asked them for something like that, they're right there to give it.
So, like you said, they know it. I mean, that's free advertising for them.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, you know, if you haven't, I know a lot of people have used Flipgrid, but, you know, check it out. You know, like I said, we'll talk a little more about it in an upcoming episode. We're going to talk about things that you can give a try at the end of the year, you know, where it may be a complete and utter failure for you, and, you know, it may be a bomb, but give it a try, you know.
You never know until you do
Absolutely,
try.
right. You never know.
I am really excited next year with third grade. Our district has laptops. We are
Right.
on the one-to-one initiative, and we do have laptops, but the laptops don't necessarily have that camera.
Right.
So, you know, next year with those Chromebooks coming down to third grade, it's going to be great to be able to use Flipgrid with the use of the playlists, and everything's done paperless. It's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and again, just like one of the companies that just gets it. For sure.
Also, talking about those companies that get it, I think something people should check out is Empatico.
Right.
It's, you know, on Twitter.
Yeah,
it's
again, just somebody who
empatico.org.
just gets it.
And, you know, we really saw it through Stacy Delaney, Michael Dunlia, and Dr. Collins from Tennessee, and the first two from Tabernacle. So if you are on Twitter, check those guys out, because the stuff they're doing is pretty amazing.
And again, that may be something, you know, for that future episode, talking about something you can, maybe you won't try it this year, but you can start to get set up with it this year at the end of the year, and hit the ground running at the beginning of next year.
And just to get those ideas, just to get your juices flowing. And Empatico is so great, is, you know, you don't have to get paired up right away.
Right.
They have these resources out there where if you just want to focus on your students talking, or caring about each other, or how to have a conversation.
Right. Their resource. Their little lesson plans on how to have a conversation and how to be actively listening in a conversation is.
It's great, especially if you want to get into the design thinking.
Right. Because you have to be able to listen and think on your feet.
That's great.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then how about you know, a guy you kind of turned me on to, Wettrick.
Yeah, Don Wettrick, awesome person to follow, and again, you know, just somebody who has absolutely changed the way I teach and how I, you know, even look at teaching.
Well, I thought it was cool when, once again on Twitter last year, I see, hey, Don Wettrick is a keynote speaker at Texpo.
Right.
And I say, Ron, did you know this? And your response is, yo, I'm going to Texpo. You should talk to the super and see if you could go to Texpo.
And again, that was pretty awesome. Like, we were all able to go meet Don, which was awesome.
Well, you know, and it was, and you know.
And he was there for Rewire, right?
He was there.
I
Rewire.
didn't get to see him. I didn't go the second day, but he was.
I got a hug. I got a hug from Don Wettrick, and I was very vocal and in his meeting or in his session, and it was hilarious. At the end, you know, he was like, "You need a hug," you know, and I was also able to meet Pam Moran.
Yeah,
and Iris Opal,
yeah.
and those two are just great souls. If you ever have the opportunity to talk to either one of those individuals, or get the opportunity to just sit on a session that they're holding, it'll change the way you look at the world.
It changes the way you look at the world, changes the way you view education, and you know, the idea of continuing to do it just that way because we've done it that way.
Well, Timeless Learning,
right?
I think is their book.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Absolutely, yeah. And
Heavy.
again, we'll put a link to that because that's a pretty good book as well.
I had sat in on Pam's session before Don's, the day before Don's, and I was in Don's, and I was in the back of the room, just kind of like smiling and listening. And Pam walks in, and I had only met her the day before in the session, and there were hundreds of people. And she walked in, and I smiled and said hi, and she smiled and said, "Hey Joe, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Holy smokes, Pam
knows me."
She knows my name. And then next thing you know, Ira walks in, and the three of us talked, this was on a Friday afternoon, or I'm sorry, I think it was
Saturday
afternoon. Last session, and I sat and talked to them for or they allowed me. They
Right.
talked to
Yeah.
me till 4:15, and
Pretty amazing.
it was an awesome experience. And then
Right.
You read some of the stuff Ira puts out there on Twitter.
Makes you
and
think.
I'm have to read it like 3 or 4
Yeah.
times, and holy, yeah, it does. It really makes you think.
And a lot of there's stuff out there that he's put out that it's not just about education, but just about the world in general. I mean, he put a post out about just violence in inner cities and talking about what's going on in
Yes.
the cities, right?
I mean, they're from from Virginia, right?
Yeah, they're from
down south?
Charlottesville.
Okay.
Right, so they
Yes.
I remember
Heavy
seeing
times.
them. Right. Yeah, they had school. They had the hate crime in Charlottesville with that march, I think in August, and then they're opening up school in September with all that cloud around them. And I remember hearing Pam talk about that. It was pretty amazing what they were able to do and how they were able to pull it all together for the kids.
Well, just the stuff. I don't live in that world, so
Right.
I see that kind of stuff on the news, but when I do see that, and granted it's on the news almost all the time,
Yeah,
but now
unfortunately.
there's people that and through social media and whatnot,
Yeah.
but then they're reporting on it. It's very heavy to see a real view as opposed to what the news might paint the
Right.
picture as.
And I think, I guess, I don't know, one of the things I would say if, as we start to finish up the episode is, for me, if you haven't been on Twitter or aren't on Twitter, get active on Twitter.
Well,
Because everybody we're talking about that's where we've come to know them.
And they're so helpful,
Yep.
like Kevin, right? Kevin Jarrett,
Yeah.
Firewalker
Firewall
Consulting.
Consulting, yeah.
Holy smokes! And
I mean,
it's just as willing as he is to
Yeah.
help out with time and materials and
yes.
I'll run it over to you. You're
Right, right.
you're only a half an
hour out of my way.
Yeah, that's a half hour out of your
Right,
way.
right.
But yeah, he's another one
Yep.
that. So I guess that is. I mean, bottom of the line. If you're not on Twitter,
Get there.
yeah, most definitely.
And that's what I was just saying. I just had an evaluation with one of our administrators, and she and I were talking. And I said, not to bash PD at school, but I've gotten more out of stuff that I've seen on Twitter and interactions that I've had on Twitter than really any of the PD, because what I'm doing on Twitter is exactly what I'm looking for.
Well, they're fired up on Twitter.
Right.
AJ Giuliani, John Spencer, Laura Fleming,
Yeah.
Daily Stead,
Yeah,
all those guys are so psyched
Yeah.
about making and empathy and just a whole different type of teaching.
Right, and getting those creative juices flowing and getting kids prepared for whatever the future's going to hold. And
Because who knows what's happening.
right, and we talk about who's we don't know what jobs are going to be out there. Well, who are going to be creating the jobs that we don't know that are out there? These are the kids. So
Most definitely.
getting yourself on Twitter. You want, again, if we kind of bring it full circle back to budget, there's free PD, free ideas, all out there on Twitter for you.
Most definitely.
And one of my favorite things, I know, you don't listen as much to different podcasts, but get on some of the podcasts that are out there. Jake Miller has the Educational Duct Tape podcast, which
Yes.
is pretty amazing. It's probably one of my new favorite podcasts. I would happy to say, as he calls us, I'm a duct taper.
Well, how about Daniel Pink?
Yep,
As
Daniel
well.
Pink, yeah, another great author, and really good ideas out there. So I guess we'll go ahead and start to wrap it up.
Yeah, definitely great episode.
Another great episode. This is episode 2. Hope to have everybody back for episode 3, and we'll see what comes.
Definitely.
All right. Again, I'm Ron Nover.
I'm Joe DiPaolo.